insurance. Today, I want to talk to you about the insurance labor market in 2020 and going forward, and the future of remote work and extra flexibility at home. I'm basing a lot of this on conversations with clients, prospects, and friends who run different departments and units at different P&C carriers, and on the Jacobson Ward or Jacobson Aon labor market survey, which Jacobson and Aon have been doing since 2009. Disclaimer, this is not the official explanation or the official presentation of the Jacobson Ward survey. My CEO, Greg Jacobson, does that once every 6 months. This is just my read on it. I did not participate in the creation of the survey. But basically, what the survey every 6 months asks business unit leaders and HR leaders at different carriers in P&C, health, and life insurance about their hiring plans for the next year. And this year, of course, came with interesting results, and it just came out about a month ago. So they've been doing this survey since 2009. One thing that I found really interesting is that 48% of companies, that's all types of insurance companies, life, health, and P&C, plan to increase their staff during the next 12 months, with personal lines P&C leading with 60% of personal lines P&C companies planning to increase their staff. Another thing that is really fascinating is that the recruiting difficulty has not eased. In fact, it has increased a bit. And we're not really expecting a decline in employment, or they're not expecting a decline in employment. So recruiting will continue to be difficult for the foreseeable future for insurance companies. This continues to be a talent market. If you want to take one thing away, that's the one thing away. This continues to be an employees market, not an employers market, even during a recession. It's incredible. The companies surveyed are expecting a 0.99, so roughly a 1% increase in employment during the next 12 months. This is incredible because this survey was done in the middle of a recession, in the middle of the coronavirus, and P&C is holding up even better. On average, P&C 1.31% projected growth. Also, unemployment with insurance, which I talk about every time I talk about millennials, is very, very interesting. It's held low, basically. It for the last few years, it has ran somewhere in between the 1.5% and 2%. The time of this survey, it was at 4.8%, which is a lot higher, but still below 5%. And it actually came down a little bit after this was released. So it's at somewhere around 4% right now, which again is so much better than the economy. Insurance has held as an amazing place to work at, even during this recession. I'm so proud. I'm really, really so proud. Continues to be an employees market, even though things are slower. The recruiting difficulty is really interesting because it really did not decline. Companies are still reporting that recruiting with insurance is difficult, that there is not a surplus of talent in any way, shape, or form. And the hardest areas to recruit in, the ones that have the biggest shortages of talent, are actuarial, technology, analytics, executives, underwriting, product management, claims, compliance, sales, and marketing. And if you think about it, that is basically all the insurance. The only areas that we survey that are below the level at which it's considered difficult, I believe by the American Staffing Association, are accounting and operations. And those are not too far from the, finally, this is where I think is really fascinating. This is where I really want to spend kind of the rest of the video. Basically, everybody, and I've spoken to hundreds of insurance carriers, literally hundreds of P&C insurance carriers since March, and they've all kind of said a similar story, which is everybody went remote, we held our breath, we crossed our fingers, it worked. The IT held up, everybody went remote permanently for what we thought was 2, 3, 4 weeks. It's now been 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, right? Productivity has remained. We haven't had a loss of productivity because of going remote, and the great majority of them recognize that this is my phrase, there is no putting the genie back in the bottle. you can't, once we have a vaccine and we start going into a new normal and it's possible to go into the office and see clients and all that, you can't just pull your people back into the office. It's just not going to work. And I'll tell you why. Because most other carriers won't. So they will simply go, and if they love the flexibility, they'll simply go and work for your competition without even having to move. And this was backed up by a couple of new questions that were added to the Jacobson Ward survey this time around. And basically they asked carriers about what flexible options they're planning on having going forward post-coronavirus, after the office reopens. And 77%, so for all intents and purposes, 80% of them said they will have more occasional work from home, so more work from home days. 53% said they'll have more flexible hours. And this is the one that's really fascinating. 48% of insurance carriers said that they will have more full-time remote people. So that proves my point. There's no putting this genie back in the bottle. So if you're not good at managing your remote people, we gotta get you working on that. Now, that doesn't mean that, and only 8% are not planning to have any changes. They're just planning to go back to exactly the way that they worked before. That doesn't mean that that'll be easy. And a lot of what I hear from my friends, clients, and prospects is, yes, the transition went well. With my existing people, I'm concerned about how we're going to train new people, how we're going to keep the culture when a lot of the people are remote and a lot of the people aren't in at the same time. How do we keep the company culture? So those are things that nobody has a good answer to, and we'll have to work through, and we'll have to bring in some help from outside the industry, from industries like tech who have been much more remote than we were before. But either way, a point I wanted to make is the insurance talent market has held strong through this recession. It continues to be an employees market, not an employer's market. So the employee is still in command. Now, if you're going through your own job search, job search in insurance has always been slow. In my opinion, in my experience, 6 to 9 months on average, based on the people that I've helped through it. Right now, it's probably slower. So don't go quitting your job before you have another one in hand. And remote work isn't going anywhere. We're going to get to a new normal that will include a lot of remote, a lot of flexibility, a lot of more work from home than your people had before. And this is good for you as an insurance employee. It's hard if you're an insurance company. You've got to learn how to do it, bring in the help that you need now to get it done. Again, check out the Aon Jacobson labor market survey. I will include the link below. And if you're going through your own job search and you want to chat, grab some time on chatwithtony.com. Happy to give you some guidance, some tips, and hopefully push forward. And anything else I can do, please let me know. Thank you. TC out.